Hi on the Daily Family. Happy Friday. Or as always, whenever it is you're hearing this, let's talk about one of my favorite things, and that is starting something before we feel ready to start something, right? Obviously, I'm thinking back to the episode earlier this week with Annie, and we talked a lot about this idea that so many people wait until they're ready to do something, or they want to wait until they're ready to do something. And y'all, from personal experience, I can tell you, you will never start. It will never happen. You will never, ever start the thing unless you are willing to start before you're ready, which means that you're also willing to start and maybe fail, right? I think we get into our head about like failure and like, does failing make us a failure? And I want to remind you that failing does not make you a failure. Failing means you are more prepared to fail the next time. Okay. So I want you to think about like the one thing that you really want right now, like that one goal, that you really have. And I want you to visualize what it would feel like to have that thing already be accomplished. And then I want you to think about why you haven't started the thing, why you haven't pursued the thing, whatever that thing is, right? Maybe it is more money. Maybe it's more time. Maybe it's a third or fourth or second income stream. Maybe it's just being able to be more present in your life. Maybe it is starting a business. I don't know, whatever it is, envision it. Ask yourself, why haven't I started this thing? Why haven't I gone for it? Why hasn't it happened yet? And then take a second to think, if I would have just started this a year ago, what would my life look like now? If I would have started this a month ago, what would my life look like now? If I would have started this yesterday, what would today look like? Because I have come to find that we are never ready for anything, ever. We think we are, we want to be ready, and then we don't start because something gets into our head, that like comparison game, that weird feeling in the back of our head that's like, oh no, you can't do that because you'd never be able to do it right. Or you're not going to be as successful as that person. Or what business do you have starting a business? You don't even know what business is. And you gotta let those things go. You gotta it's like from that movie Luca. If you haven't seen Luca, by the way, go watch it. It's so freaking cute, but it's like Silenzio Bruno, it's like, you gotta tell that piece of your brain to shut up. Because unless you try, you're never going to know. And we're so afraid of growth. We are so afraid of expansion. We are so afraid of figuring out what our max is, what our highest self looks like, what the most authentic version of us can be. We're so afraid of that. But ask yourself this, if a year from now you're in the same place you are today, isn't that scarier? I think it is. I think staying the same is way scarier than growth, way scarier than starting. So I want to encourage you wherever you are in this journey of accomplishing your goals. I want you to really, really, really take a self-inventory of where you could be if you get out of your own way, if you just start, if you just do the risky thing, if you just do the scary thing. Imagine what that's going to feel like and look like and be like. Because every time, as Annie said earlier in this week, every time you make that risky choice, every time you take a risk, a scary risk, right? Every time you do that, you are just getting better at riskier decisions, right? So then eventually risky won't be a thing anymore. I don't know. I think we miss out on so many opportunities. We miss out on so many things so often because we get into our head about this imposter syndrome. Oh, I can't be that person. I can't be this person. I can't do that. I can't, won't. I've probably said this on this podcast before, but if I haven't, or if you've heard it, you get to hear it again. So there's a statistic that says every human thinks on average between 2,500 and 3,000 thoughts an hour. Of those thoughts, about 70% of them are negative and 90% are repetitive. So that means 90% of the time we are repeating the negative shit that we say to ourselves 70% of the time. That's not even true. That imposter syndrome, right? So if we're going to be saying things that aren't true to ourselves all day, and that's going to be repeating. It might as well be positive. So let's start talking to ourselves a little bit nicer. Let's start reminding ourselves that we are that person, right? Every time you've said, I can't do that, before you go comparing yourself to anybody else in your fitness classes, in your business industry, don't compare yourself to people on the internet. But if you do, because we all have at some point, take a second before you compare and remind yourself that you are that person. You already are that person. That person is inside of you. That person lives inside of you. And it's just waiting to come out. And it's your job to unleash that person by making risky decisions, by starting the thing, by doing it. Right? So start before you're ready. Start today. What's one thing you could do today toward that goal? Do it. And then tomorrow, do another thing. And then the day after that, do another thing until finally that goal is achieved and you're looking back on your life going, damn, I'm so glad that I did the thing. I'm so glad that I got out of my way. I'm so glad that I took the risk. Because if you don't do it and you don't take the risk and you don't start, then you're never going to know. And then a year from now, you're going to be in exactly the same place. And like I said, I promise you that is scarier. It really is. Don't be afraid of your growth, or be afraid of your growth and do it anyway. But don't not grow because you are afraid of that growth. I hope wherever you are having the day that you need. And we will see you on Tuesday for another interview. See you soon.